Emma Caldwell was used to expensive restaurants, quiet respect from staff, and people pretending not to recognize her. As the CEO of one of the fastest-growing investment firms in the country, her life was built on schedules, numbers, and control. That evening, however, she had chosen a small roadside diner instead of her usual 5-star reservation. It wasn't planned. Her 10-year-old son, Leo, had begged her for something normal, something that didn't involve suits or whispered conversations. The diner smelled of coffee and fried food, the kind of place where time seemed to slow down. Emma slid into the booth across from Leo, placing her phone face down on the table for once. Leo smiled, already studying the menu with excitement. At the booth beside them sat a man and a young boy. The man wore worn-out work clothes, his hands rough and tired. In front of him were a few scattered coins, carefully arranged. The boy, no older than 8, watched quietly, holding a glass of water with both hands. Emma noticed the man counting and recounting the coins, his jaw tightening slightly each time. She tried not to stare, but something about the scene pulled at her attention. Leo followed her gaze. "Mom," he whispered, "why is that man counting coins?" Emma hesitated. "Sometimes people have to be very careful with money," she replied softly. The waitress approached the man and his son. "Are you ready to order?" she asked kindly. The man cleared his throat. "Just a grilled cheese for my boy," he said. "And water is fine." The waitress nodded, but Emma saw the flicker of embarrassment in the man's eyes. The boy didn't complain. He simply smiled up at his father. Emma felt something unfamiliar tighten in her chest. Leo leaned closer to her. "Can he share my fries?" he asked innocently. Emma looked at her son, surprised. Before she could answer, the man shook his head politely. "That's kind of you, kid," he said, "but we're okay." Emma smiled, but she could see they weren't okay. When the man went to the restroom, the boy remained seated, swinging his legs. Emma made a quiet decision. She stood up and walked to the counter, speaking softly to the waitress. When she returned to her booth, Leo watched her with curiosity but didn't ask questions. A few minutes later, plates of food began arriving at the neighboring table. Not just a grilled cheese, but pancakes, eggs, fries, and a warm bowl of soup. The boy's eyes widened. "I didn't order this," the man said when he returned, confused. The waitress smiled. "It's already paid for." The man looked around, uncertain, until his eyes met Emma's. She gave a small, reassuring nod. His face flushed. He stood slowly and walked over. "Ma'am, I can't accept this," he said. "I don't even know you." Emma gestured to the empty seat. "Please sit. I insist." Reluctantly, he sat down. "My name is Emma," she said. "And this is my son, Leo." "I'm Daniel," he replied. "And that's my boy, Noah." There was an awkward pause before Daniel spoke again. "I appreciate the food, but I don't want charity." Emma met his eyes calmly. "It's not charity. It's kindness. There's a difference." Daniel exhaled slowly. "I lost my wife 2 years ago," he said quietly, as if the words had been waiting too long. "Since then, it's just been me and him. I work construction when I can, but things have been hard." Emma listened. She didn't interrupt. She didn't check her phone. For the first time in years, she simply listened. Leo and Noah were already laughing together, comparing drawings on napkins. When it was time to leave, Emma paid for everything again, despite Daniel's protests. As she stood up, Daniel said, "I don't know how to thank you." Emma smiled. "Just take care of him." Daniel nodded, emotion thick in his voice. Emma thought that would be the end of it. She was wrong. 2 weeks later, Emma couldn't stop thinking about that night. The image of Daniel counting coins replayed in her mind during board meetings and late-night calls. On impulse, she asked her assistant to track him down using the diner's location and date. When they finally found him, Emma invited Daniel to her office. He arrived nervous, wearing his cleanest shirt, clearly uncomfortable in the sleek glass building. "I'm not in trouble, am I?" he asked half-jokingly. Emma smiled. "No, I wanted to offer you a job." Daniel blinked. "A job?" "My company is investing in affordable housing projects," she explained. "We need someone who understands real work, real people." "I read your background. You're skilled, reliable." Daniel swallowed. "I'm just a construction guy." "And that's exactly why you're perfect," Emma said. Daniel accepted. Months passed. Daniel proved himself hardworking, honest, and respected by his team. Emma watched him grow into the role, his confidence slowly returning. Noah started school again, happier and healthier. Emma and Daniel found themselves talking more, at first about work, then about life. Emma spoke about her late husband, how success had become her shield against grief. Daniel spoke about loneliness, about raising a child alone. Their children became inseparable. One evening, after a long site visit, Daniel said quietly, "You didn't just change my life that night. You reminded me that people still care." Emma looked at him, really looked at him, and realized something had changed inside her too. Love didn't arrive suddenly. It grew slowly, built on respect, shared pain, and quiet understanding. A year later, Emma stood in a simple garden, holding Daniel's hands. Leo and Noah stood side by side, smiling proudly. Emma wasn't wearing a designer gown. Daniel wasn't in an expensive suit, but they had something far more valuable than wealth. They had family. As Emma looked around, she thought about how one small act of kindness at a diner had rewritten all of their lives. Sometimes, the most unbelievable things begin with something very simple.